an Auburn coaching search that is surprisingly well run and organized. We'll tell you where things are in that search, but before we do that, I want to ask you to hit that subscribe button. Help us grow. It's free, and it helps us continue doing this podcast. So appreciate you joining us. Hit that subscribe button, share, like as well. Check us out at LandryFootball.com. Well, Auburn is in the midst of their third coaching search in the past 5 years, and it's a busy cycle, as we all know. Hugh Freeze was the fourth Power 4 coach to get let go this season. If you look at the history of Auburn, it hasn't been really good in terms of how they've been run. It's been mostly boosters running things, and there's certainly that involvement. But what's happening now is because the boosters have been heavily involved in the last couple of hires, and it didn't work out very well, they are having a little bit more of a hands-on approach, or at least a patient approach. There is a search committee, there's a search firm that is helping them out. John Cohen is going to make the decision, the Auburn athletic director. And I can tell you, doing my consulting work, evaluating coaches for search firms, for universities, NFL teams, I can tell you the work that they've done has been very organized, very thorough, and I think they are in a pretty good position. We'll take a look at where things stand. I do believe that DJ Durkin does have a chance to win this job. It certainly would have helped if they had gotten that win last week. It was tough for him. I think he needs to really show that he can win those big games down the stretch. I don't see them being Alabama. Therefore, I don't see him getting the job. But there is a path, was a path, to him to win it. Maybe playing Alabama off their feet, and, who knows what can happen. But I think that they're, barring that, I think they feel real good about John Summerall of Tulane and their chances of getting it. John is a Alabama native and coached at Troy. He's done a phenomenal job at both places, now at Tulane. He's 43 years old. He's around the SEC, on Ole Miss's staff as linebacker coach, Kentucky, which is his alma mater, linebacker coach, and obviously getting the job at Troy and Tulane has been really good. It's a lot of positives about this guy. He's the real deal. He's not one of these guys that's a lot of fluff. He kind of fits that Auburn mentality. Not the flash, but a guy that's a really tough-minded, hard coach. Good defenses, tried to build that, but certainly understands the role of the offensive importance in today's game and the style. Really doing a good job. Now, yes, there are other jobs, and he's been thrown out there for LSU in Florida. I do think that Auburn probably needs to make a move on him before maybe something happens with the others. I do think the fact that Tulane is still kind of in the hunt for a really good season, got in that conference, they've got a chance. So we'll see where that goes, but he's really good. If you look at the job that he did at Troy, under Chip Lindsey, they had 3 losing seasons before John took over. Went 23-4 over 2 seasons before getting hired at Tulane. Tulane, really good shape, obviously, when he took over the job. They went 9-3 in the regular season in year 1 before falling in the American Conference Championship game and its bowl game. They're currently 7-2, born in Texas, grew up in Huntsville, played at Kentucky. Makes a lot of sense. I think that I would go so far as to say he's the front runner, and that barring his decision to not take this job or go somewhere else, I think he's Auburn's top choice. Brent Key, I think, is a really good fit as well. Georgia Tech coach is 26-17, 47 years old. just a phenomenal job with a program that's really struggled. He's coached in the state at Alabama for Nick Saban, offensive line coach at Central Florida prior to that, Georgia Tech offensive line coach. He's, to me, has built a toughness in that Georgia Tech program and taking players and getting a lot out of them, using the portal. Old school approach. This kind of fits Auburn's model. Again, an Alabama native as well, which is not the reason why you would put him high on the list. It's just one of those bonuses. Look, if you look at it, when he's Georgia Tech's interim coach in 2022, the program decided to keep him. Since then, he's 7-6 against ranked opponents. And I said, well, that's not good. That's great at Georgia Tech. I mean, you're talking about ranked opponents, teams that have more talent or as much talent as Georgia Tech, and he's winning. The Alabama ties with working at Alabama and recruiting. He's done a really good job of identifying the right type of players in Atlanta in recruiting. Doesn't have a lot of experience as a head coach. So that's why I think John Summerall the head coaching experience maybe gives him a little bit of an edge there. Yeah, they're looking at other possibilities. I think they certainly would like to see if they can get Clark Lee interested. We know about his background. I don't see Eli Drinkwitz as good a fit at Auburn, although I think he's done a really good job at Missouri. I think a lot of it is about the fit, and I don't think he's as good a fit as Summerall for Auburn, but that is somebody they've done their due diligence with, and we'll see how that plays out. I do think he's got, a chance. Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State coach, has kind of pledged that he wants to stay home in Arizona. That's his school, but he certainly coached at Florida State, Memphis, and he was an offensive coordinator at Auburn. He's 35 years old, certainly someone they vetted. Rhett Lashley certainly coached under Gus Malzahn there. I think he's going to stay at SMU. He certainly signed the extension. It doesn't mean he can't take another job right now, but I think he's likely to pass on that. I do not like James Franklin for this move. Don't think Lane Kiffin is going to make that move, although his name will be out there leverage-wise. If they go off the radar, they've done, I know, some work, and I don't know that it's strictly a courtesy interview, but Joe Witt Jr., the Washington Commanders defensive coordinator, an Auburn letterman, outstanding guy. He's. I do think that. I would look at him as a long shot, and probably after exhausting other options. Alex Golesh of South Florida, Ryan Silverfield of Memphis. They have done their homework on Glenn Schumann of Georgia, but I do think. That John Summerall is the guy that's the favorite. We'll see how that plays out. If they're able to get a deal done, is he committed to leaving at Tulane this year? I think with the openings that are out there, I think that for him, this would be a really good job and a really good fit. For Auburn, I think it's a really good fit for them. I personally think if they could get a deal done sooner than later, and I'm not talking about while the games are still going on, but I think cementing that is something that Auburn wants to do. With Florida out there, with LSU out there, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. I think they're behind those two schools in terms of where coaches see this job, but if John doesn't get one of those two, and I don't think he's anywhere near the favorite at both of those, it's one of those things, bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. We'll see. Nothing definite. That's a sense that I get. It's not anything that's certainly definite. That's a look at it. We'll keep you up to date. Appreciate you joining us. Hit that subscribe button. Help us grow. I know, look down at the bottom. Make sure that you're subscribed. A lot of you listen. Help us. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. We appreciate you joining us. Talk to you again next time.